5 scores! Rick 5.
We decided to get ourselves back in the game again with our podcast.
Rick 5 and Gary Nevin.
Probably the craziest story that you're ever going to hear about hockey.
We're going to be coming back to you on a regular basis.
You are listening to Squid and the Ultimate Leafs Fan.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans of the United States and Newfoundland, and an extra big hello to Canadian servicemen overseas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Squid and Ultimate Leafs Fan Show. I'm Mike Wilson, the Ultimate Leafs Fan. Joining me, as always, my winger, rookie Squid Vibes. Squid, how are things? Technical problems again. This bloody... We're going to gas this StreamYard, folks. This thing is brutal. No sound again. Rick? Oh, boy. Got it. Rick, dude, not working? No, Rick's, your microphone's not working? Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
You on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we got a StreamYard. If you're listening, your product is useless, okay? This goes on every week, and we're tired of it. You know, we pay a lot of money for this damn thing, and you guys are brutal. You know, so everybody out there, and I've actually texted these guys several times, and they won't answer us. So anybody can suggest a better format for us. Our producer, that embarrasses our producer, does a wonderful job. And I'm not going to say his name, so I won't embarrass him even further. But, you know, StreamYard, wake up a better product. This is really pissing us off. So anyway, now Squid, so how you doing?
I'm good. Good. Watched that game last night. It was pretty amazing. Actually, the funniest part was seeing the Avalanche in the Quebec Nordiques jerseys.
Yeah, well, we want to get to that in a minute, but I do. That is, I mean, Debbie was even asking me about that. She says, what are those guys wearing those uniforms to? And I had to explain to her that the history of that's coming from with all the wearing the original uniforms from the team from Quebec, and same with when Carolina wears the Hartford jerseys. I mean, first and foremost, where can fans find you this week? I mean, you got a couple games coming up, the big games this week with the St. Catherine Saints. But other than that, anything else?
Yeah, we got a real good one Friday, Saturday. Friday in where the heck are we? We're in Galt Arena,
Cambridge,
and then home against them. Cambridge, and then home against them on Saturday. I think 2 wins against them would probably solidify a playoff spot for us. So, folks, if you're in the area, go in. And by the way, if anything, you want to go to that Galt Arena, if one thing, to see one of the historic rinks in Canada, a great place. And that goes way, way back to the Conn Smythe early years of in the 20s when the Leafs played there, and had training camps actually there. Now, I mean, one of the things so if you want to take that in, Senior A hockey is alive and going well, so take it in if you can. Before we get into the Leafs, I know you want to talk about that, but the world of sports would never fail to deliver some bizarre and wacky things, and the Ottawa Senators in the last couple of weeks have certainly proven that once again. I don't want to get into the details of what was out there because, you know, as I've said to people before, these crazy people on the internet that spread out all these crazy rumors, whether they're true or not, is anybody's guess. That's not really where the point I want to go with this. I mean, it could be some 14-year-old in his mom's basement printing stuff, making things up because somebody was away or all that. And I'm sure anybody out there is following has seen what's gone on. But it was the response from the Ottawa Senators management team that attacked them pretty aggressively and responded. My concern was, you know, why are you throwing gas on the fire like that? Just like almost like, why bring more attention to the situation? I mean, the poor old Sens, they had enough problems a couple of years ago
when they went through this with Hoffman and Carlson and all the nonsense that was swirling around that, and those two players end up leaving. But in the meantime, the team has taken a long time to recover off of that. The team is finally getting back respectable, a playoff team. They've run into lots of injuries there. Now you need this like a hole in the head. But Squid, have you ever seen anything as bizarre as that in your time in hockey, like what's gone on to this poor team?
No, I honestly can say that I have never seen that. And I mean, the things that they're saying, and even the management coming out and saying that sort of thing, is kind of crazy. But yeah,
it's I mean, listen, but people have to understand where I really want to go with this is I'm not trying to just to light this thing up is, listen, this goes on everywhere. I mean, just because these guys play hockey, they play professional sports, they're in the public eye. We understand that, but everyday challenges that we working folks encounter, they encounter as well, and you encountered as well. I mean, problems with the wife or girlfriend or both, kid issues, substance problems, financial problems. Somebody didn't mow the lawn properly, or forgot to mow your lawn, or shovel your snow, or you have to paint the house, whatever it is. You pick it. These are all the same things that every guy goes through in the same vein. I was 40 years on Bay Street, and some of the stuff that I witnessed and encountered over the years would just astonish you. And I'm sure every line of work can echo the same type of thing. So maybe, Squid, from your perspective, some of the things, just one of the things that people don't realize is like everyday life is still there for you guys, whether you're playing hockey or not.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have children, you have a wife. I mean, whatever the case might be. I mean, you have to be a parent, you have to be a husband, I mean, regardless of whether you're playing hockey or you're working on Bay Street or whatever the case might be, it's your life. And I don't think people realize that when they start spreading these rumors, that it is your life. And they can disrupt it in a hurry when they get online and start putting these things out. And it sucks. It really does.
Well, listen, really from the perspective of the fan, the only thing you should be concerned about is wins and losses. That's it. And whether the player is living up to his standard and the ability that he has or is brought to the team, that's it. Everything else is none of your business, none of our business, and we shouldn't care. All we care is about the wins and losses, and that really is the bottom line to it. And, if people would just spend more time focusing on that than all the other mundane things they try to center their attention on, it would be a lot better. But this is getting out of hand, and it's not just in hockey this goes on. This goes on in all the sports now.
Yeah, it does. And it's very unfortunate because these guys that are playing these sports, they have lives. They have wives, they have children. I mean, it's not fair. And like I said, it sucks when people start doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's just, again, I mean, I feel bad for the players because they have to go through it. And, it's tough enough to win in this league without having this added burden, this stuff overhanging you. So anyway, enough about all of that. But let's get you touched on it right at the beginning here. The Leafs, very impressive win last night. What was your thoughts on that little overtime victory in the hottest team in the league?
Well, it was pretty good. I mean, like the early lead, and then they fell behind, and then they tied it up, and then won in overtime. I mean, that was a big 2 points. I think that put them into a wild card spot. And
yes,
so now all they got to do is continue to rise up and like you said, like the difference in their play in the last 4, 5, 6 games has been incredible. Like playing more physical, playing a little faster and that sort of thing. And then that's the way they've been playing for about 5, 6 games now. And most of those games were without one of their better players, William Nylander. Although he did play last night and scored the overtime winner. So
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's we're not trying to split atoms here. It's very simple process. It's a combination of all those things you talked about, along with plain old hard work. And the McMahon goal last night was a perfect example. He out-hustled both ad defensemen to a loose puck and buried it. I mean, the old cliche, and I'm using one that they all use on TV all the time, moving their feet. I mean, it can be penciled in here right to the narrative. They're not, and the biggest thing that I noticed, it appears that they're not looking to somebody else to do the heavy lifting or hesitating to go to places they may not want to go. They're playing in the uncomfortable spots, and guess what? That's how it works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you have to be willing to get into those dirty areas, and it's not always fun, but if you don't, then chances of winning go down quite a bit.
Well, one of the things I've seen that is changed in the last while is the D has kept it simple. The goaltending's been solid, and the forwards have been more defensively responsible. And add to the fact that 34 has looked like himself the last few weeks, and there's been some secondary scoring. The power play's been better. The penalty kill's been better. I mean, again, we don't have to dissect this to the ninth decimal point. It's just basic up and down, grind it out, not pretty at times hockey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would imagine that Craig Berube, that's the way he wants the team to play. And when they do play that way, they generally win games. When they don't play that way, they're on the other end, the losing end. So go out, do your job, play physical, go to the dirty areas where you might get hit, but it could win you the game.
Well, I mean, as we've watched for the last 8-9 years, I mean, they have enough star power to move the needle and be game changers. But again, not chasing the game every night certainly gives them lots of opportunities to do just that. But again, first and foremost, it comes back to keeping the puck out of their own net. And how do you do that? Well, the first challenge in that direction is to keep it out of their own end. And again, it's just simplifying it right to its basic forms. That's the strategy. Keep the puck out of our end. Pretty tough to score from outside the blue line.
Yeah. Well, you don't see that very often. And I mean, the bottom line is they've been playing better in their own zone. They've been getting pucks out. They've been,
that's my point.
Not having guys way up at the far blue line and then them, the opposition intercepting passes that they try to make up there and that sort of thing. They've been keeping it kind of like a 5-man unit, excuse me, coming out of their own zone, going through the neutral zone, and keeping teams in their defensive zone for a longer period of time. Pretty simple game when you break it all down.
No, it really is. I mean, it's been around for 120 odd years, and it's still very simple. You just have to get one more than the other guy. Make sure, and the simplest way to do this, don't let your guys score for starters, and hopefully one goes getting off your leg or your butt or somewhere, or your head or shoulder or something, and we're not speaking, and we're also, now the other thing that's concerning is we're not speaking to a team that has a very thin depth chart. Let's put it, doesn't have a lot of depth. So staying healthy will never guarantee we'll need the hockey god's blessing, especially for a team already this thin and had their fair share of setbacks already. But listen, the way they approach they have to take, I think, and here you got Utah tonight, now they're going to be another tough challenge. I've never been a fan of quarterback Aaron Rodgers, but again, he said one thing that's always stuck with me. And every time he's asked if this will be his last season, he just simply says, I don't even know if this is going to be my last game. In other words, he just simply says he's keeping it very simple. Play one game almost at a time. It's an old cliche and it's a boring one, but it's no truer. So like in National Hockey League, every shift, win your shift, and that's the best way to take the approach.
No, absolutely. No question about that. You just got to go out there, win the shift. Next line up wins their shift. You keep that going. And then all of a sudden at the end of the night, you win. And I was impressed with the Canadians last night as well. watching their 6-3 win over the Canucks. And they got a good young core of players that are going to become even better. And I was pretty impressed with how they played.
Yeah, I mean, well, that and again, they've done it the old-fashioned way through the draft, and they've brought these guys along slowly, and now they're just filtering in holes. They're filling holes with veteran presence, and I mean, they're spending money when they need be to the cap. So that's the old method, you know. And Toronto's tried that, had the foundation, but weren't able to get the final pieces in place to take it to the next level. So just walking right into that. What do you think Brad Treliving's number one priority is just moving forward? There's going to have to be something's going to have to come in because there are holes. And then again, you're on that fear of injury. But where do you think the first spot should be looked at?
Well, I mean, my first inkling would be a top tier defenseman, which are hard to find, obviously. It's pretty difficult to go out and get one at the deadline. That and I think they need probably one more third, fourth line guy that can move the needle a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I'm with you on the back end. I mean, it's very thin. There's only so many Troy stretchers are going to come along, and he's been a godsend for the Leafs, and thank goodness they picked him up when they did. And with Tanev possibly out for the rest of the season, help is definitely going to be needed. But again, this is news-breaking journalism, but it's an issue anyone who's watched one game of the Leafs season is aware of. They need help on the back end, and that, I think, would be the priority. But with the forwards being more defensively responsible the last 7-8 games, you see the results. They've got 10. They got points in 10 straight games.
Yep.
So you know what? It's not a tough game, guys, when you play it the right way.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, you know, you see them coming back checking and getting in front of guys and that sort of thing. And you do that, you play that kind of way, and you're going to win more than you're going to lose. Because the defense need help with guys back checking. And I mean, the defense can't just do it all on their own. They need help from the forwards coming back and helping out and picking up the right guys and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, those are a couple of positives we've seen. Anything else you've seen that you like in their game that's changed over the last month, say?
Special teams?
Yep.
I think they've been a lot better. They've been better on the power play. They've been better killing penalties, which they did last night as well. And you just keep those going, special teams, the way they're going. And, you know, that turns your game around sometimes. You know, I mean, you're down a goal or two, and you get a power play and you score on the power play. And all of a sudden you're right back in the game. And or if you kill a penalty, it gives your team a little bit of a jump, you know, and then they start playing with a little bit more oomph in their game. And that's just momentum. That, like killing a penalty, scoring a power play, whatever. That gives your team a little bit of momentum going forward.
Well, I mean, to expand on what was mentioned earlier, we both sort of in agreement on this. I mean, to me, the body language of every player has shifted dramatically or changed dramatically, if you will, to a player. They give that look that they all want the puck now. And if they don't have it, there's this willingness to go after it tenaciously. I mean, earlier their puck was like a grenade on certain players' sticks, or they couldn't get rid of it fast enough. I mean, other teams, you know that. When you're playing against teams that aren't going well and guys are squeezing their sticks, how are you going to play against those guys? You're going to run a guy. You're going to force them to move the puck quicker. You're going to get on them quicker. Teams sense all this. But again, you add that along with winning, that's a pretty powerful combination that can keep the momentum going.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it again, going back to the fact that they're playing more physical. They're getting in on the forecheck. They're turning pucks over. They're doing all those things. They're coming back defensively very solidly. I mean, those are the things that win you championships, not just games, but championships.
Well, I'm with you, and we like what we've been seeing last while. Hopefully, they can keep this up, but we have to. Any final thoughts before we get to the quote of the week?
No, I mean, the only thing that kind of sucks right now is that pretty soon this 3 or 4 week thing for the Olympics is coming up, and
yeah, you're
that means that they're going to be off for 2 or 3 weeks, and hopefully they can continue this after the break for the Olympics. But you just don't know, right? I mean, anything could happen. I mean, who even knows if they have injuries over there when they're at the Olympics, some of the players, and that sort of thing. So I think it's something that they have to be aware of.
Yeah, and it's going to give some of the guys a little. And the good news is, I mean, some of the beat up guys or banged up guys a little more opportunity to get a little healthier over that 3 week stretch. And as you said, we hope that the players that are representing their countries at the Olympics stay injury free. So, Squid, we have to hope the lads keep this going. Just as we've said, they're in no off days until the break, as we've talked about. So this attitude has to remain positive. So today I'm going to borrow one from one of my other favorite teams, Notre Dame, from Coach Lou Holtz, none other than the man himself. This one's for the boys. I know they're
all right.
They're probably at the hotel having their pregame, scoff right now. So I would say, boys, as you're listening to this here, while you're having a piece of apple pie, listen to this one for you. So here we go, Squid. Okay.
All right.
Ability is what you're capable of doing. Motivation determines what you do. Attitude determines how well you do it.
Yeah, I like that one. So true.
And it is.
Couldn't be any truer. Couldn't be any truer than that.
That's right. Well, he won a national championship in '88. So, I mean, it worked at one time, that's for sure. So,
yeah.
So we'll take it. Well, folks, that's all we got for you for today. All we have for you today. So don't forget to check out our Library Squid and the Ultimate Fan podcast, available on most of the podcast networks or on our YouTube page. Hopefully the Leafs can finish this road trip off on a good note. A couple big games coming up. About home and home with coming up very soon. It's going to get a lot of people's attention with Las Vegas starting Thursday night there. Then back here next week should be a bit of a freak show when 16 returns, although he's wearing 93 now. So that's going to be a rather interesting week. In the meantime, lock down the 2 tonight against Utah, and let's see where we take it from there. So all the best. Thanks for all listening, and we'll back at you next week.